Yeah, this is not the news you want to get on your second day. Day 2 of my new job. And I have a quick chat in 2 minutes with an executive in HR. So I might be getting laid off on my second day.
In today's video, we go over the story of this TikToker, Rosemary. Her link is in the description. And we're just going over how she got laid off after only 2 days at a new job. This story was so intriguing and the comments were just so wild that I had to look her up for a follow-up. I needed to know if there was a follow-up to this video. So I've included a follow-up from her in the description as well. Okay, guys?
1 minute.
Hi, Rosemary.
Hi.
Hi, I know we haven't met yet. I'm Anne. I run the people team. So you've met Greg Russell. I think you've talked to him quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So Greg is in my organization.
Mm-hmm.
I've also asked Kyle to join us, so he should be joining. And here he is right now.
Okay.
I've asked him to be here primarily just to be, here for you as your witness, and for us to have this conversation. I have to tell you, I'm extremely regretful that we're having this conversation. I know you just started, and unfortunately, we've had a lot of conversations happening right up until the last minute about some changes we're going to make in your organization. And I'm sorry to say that your role has been impacted.
Oh, your role has been impacted. Those are like some 5 famous words. Those 5 famous words, I think it pierces more than 1,000 spears. And how many of you have heard those famous 5 words? So let us know down in the comments below. Is that something that you've heard before, and how did it make you feel? I know I've heard those.
We had a really short window sort of between your start date and this decision, and we felt it was better to have you start and have access to health insurance and kind of all of the benefits that would come with starting with the organization versus rescinding the offer. So
I apologize to keep cutting the video, but I just want y'all to pay attention to the part where they just implied. It seems like if you paid attention, we might have to go back there. But did you notice that these guys knew that they actually weren't gonna hire her? So they already knew, but they still had her leave her job.
I apologize. I know this is very shocking and difficult, but I hope we can kind of work through this together, and I'll be available to you as well as Greg to help with in any way we can.
Okay.
I know your situation is quite different, so anything we can do to be supportive, please let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this is an incredibly difficult situation. I appreciate everything you've contributed and really just how thoughtful you were through this.
It's been 2 days.
Well.
Thank you.
Wow, she contributed in 2 days.
Yeah, this is not the news you want to get on your second day, because this has been so unexpected. I would really appreciate a full 2 months, so I'm wondering if there's any way that I can get 2 extra weeks of pay.
I will. I don't have an answer for that, but I'm noting that down. We can take that into consideration and have conversation about that and let you know.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Thank you.
So sad. You could almost see this disappointment in Rosemary's face, right? Like whenever she realized that what was going on, you could see her shoulders drop. I don't know if any of you guys noticed that, but I did. But anyways, we're going to look at some comments here. The top commenter actually says, you have a recording of them admitting that they knew they were going to fire you before they hired you. Please retain an employment attorney immediately. And that was my thought as well, and that's what I was driving at. I'm no attorney, but that comment right there was pretty intriguing. I don't know, any of you guys down in the comments below, just let me know. Do you think that that this commenter raises a good point? Like, does she have a case here? And what exactly is a case that she's going for? Someone else is saying here, by doing this, they prevented you from seeking other opportunities. Exactly. So I think that that's highly key right there, right? Like, if she had other opportunities, but I think she might have to prove that she turned down those opportunities because of this one. So I think that might be hard for her to do in court. But y'all let me know down in the comments below what you think about that one. Like, do you think she has a case? I am no labor lawyer by any chance, but it does make sense, right? Especially if they've deprived her of another job, knowing fully well that that like they had no intentions of actually hiring her, then I really hope that they give her a bigger payout than 2 months. But let's actually find out if Rosemary follows suit on like any lawsuits as suggested by some of the commenters in her video. This, I think, is actually her most viewed video on her TikTok.
Everybody's asking for the full story, which I don't really find that interesting, but I'll give the people what they want. I mean, if that's what you want. I got the offer at the end of January, and then it did take about like 3 weeks for me to even start because I had to give 2 weeks notice to my last retail job. And then it just so happened that I had a week off. So I basically had all of February like free before I started, which I'm kind of annoyed about because I was banking on all of this money. So to walk you through the day that I got laid off, I wake up, it's day 2. So excited, doing my hair and makeup. And I get online and I see that there's a quick chat on my calendar. And I'm like, that's weird. I'm not dumb. Like, I know what quick chats usually mean. And at first I see the VP that like was my witness for the call. And ironically enough, he was actually on the list of people that I was supposed to onboard with. So there was a part of me that was really hoping that this was just a fluke and I would be able to be like, oh, I thought you were laying me off, but you actually just wanted to meet me. And then I looked a little closer and I noticed that the head of HR was the one who organized the call. And I was like, that's a worse sign, actually. Yeah. So I messaged my boss and I was like, hey, like, is this an intro or like what?
Yeah, I've actually had a meeting called Quick Chat with my manager, and I, like, my hat sank as well. But lucky for me, it was actually a performance review. But also, I will never understand, why do these companies continue to be so cryptic about these things? Like, why tease her? If you're going to lay her off, why don't you just tell her off the bat? Just cut to the chase.
And she texted me, which is another sign. She said that they had laid off a lot of people in the Europe and Asia offices, like basically while we were sleeping. I still don't know how many people they actually laid off total. It was a lot. And actually my boss and her boss got laid off too. So she said, I don't know anything. I don't know why this is on your calendar. But shortly after we saw my appointment, she got invited to a chat at 11:15. So basically right after me. And she got the boot, as did I. I cut the video down because I didn't want to include the severance, but a lot of people in the comments kind of figured it out. I was offered, like, upfront, they basically offered me, they gave me my termination date as like 2 weeks from the day that I got laid off. And they said that they would pay me that. They were giving me a month's severance. So that's where the 6 weeks came from. Because I was so like ready before the meeting, that I was so ready to like be in the mind space of getting laid off. I actually strategized with my friend beforehand what I should do. And we agreed I should just ask for more. So we were like, if they give you a month, ask for 2 months, like whatever. So when I realized in the meeting that they were offering me 6 weeks, I was like, okay, it's pretty easy to ask for 2 weeks more.
Good for you, girl. Although, like, if she left a paying job for this one, is 2 months really a fair amount? And did she even get the 2 months? That's another question, because nobody even approved that.
I didn't find out what I was getting until I got my actual severance like letter, where I did the math and I was like, oh, okay, I got 8 weeks. And it was kind of like a workaround. The other tea that I loved and I wished I could show you guys, but obviously I couldn't. The VP that was my witness, I'm sorry to this man, but he was in tears the whole time. And that's all I needed, 8 weeks of pay and a man crying. Thank you.
Yeah, sounds like cope in my opinion, right? A man crying and 2 months severance after they took you away from a paying job. That's diabolical, sis. But kudos to her because I think she's a really optimistic girl. She sounds like a sweetheart, to be honest. So what say y'all? Is 2 months really like enough time? Along with a man crying, is that really enough for you guys to like justify like a company taking you away from a paying job only to fire you 2 days later? Especially when that company knew all along. Let's talk about it down in the comments below. But anyways, guys, this has been your video. I've been your host. Feel free to go check out her TikTok page. I've put it in the description again. And also be sure to give this video a like and a subscribe. And until next time, peace.